Good day, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Gil-Kist Nation Sports Talk about the NBA. Today we're going to discuss all the playoff contending teams and their final outlook heading into the end of the regular season. There is approximately 24 games for most of these teams to finish the year, and we're going to take a look and see what they can do and where they will move in the standings before the season goes kaput. All right, first way we got to start, of course, is with our strong, mighty, elite contending teams, and we're going to start with, of course, the Milwaukee Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are obviously one of the best teams in the league, and they've improved with some trades over the recent couple of weeks. As you know, adding Mirotic, and Mirotic is coming back in one of the most recent games coming up here against the Boston Celtics. It's going to be a pretty big game, and we're going to see how this team is able to put him in the rotation and if he can contribute in a positive manner. All right, they have a moderately easy schedule the rest of the way, which means they should finish number one in the Eastern Conference. So that's going to be pretty good for them, and that's pretty much all we need to know about them. Okay, Toronto Raptors. It's a new look Raptors team going on here. With Marc Gasol now in the lineup, they have a big trio. This is a team that can be very defensive and should be able to get the job done and finish as the number 2 seed, ideally. Now, they're in the same boat as far as schedule, not too difficult going into the last 24. They do have some marquee matchups coming up, though, against Boston and San Antonio, so there should be some exciting times for them, and we'll see how they're able to do in these next coming weeks. All right, we're going to keep going and talk about the Indiana Pacers. All right, the Pacers are going to have just a little bit of a difficult schedule coming up here. Now, they have 5 easy games for the rest of the month, so they should do well, but that back end of the month is going to be very difficult for them, and I think they're going to struggle a lot, so you should probably see them drop down to being maybe the 5th seed or something like that. They definitely won't drop into being the 6th seed. Okay, we're still moving. We got a lot to talk about today, and the next team we're going to talk about is your Boston Celtics. The Green Machine needs to plug in and get going. They've been a little better as of late. Coming out the break will be very interesting to see how they operate. They've got some really tough games against Milwaukee and Toronto, as you know. So this is going to be a test of strength for them to see if can they win against the big teams that they're going to have to face in the Eastern Conference Finals or possibly even the semifinals. So it's going to be very interesting to see. Their schedule, though, and overall is a little bit difficult than the others. So we can't really expect to see them finishing as a top 2 teams, but maybe in the top 4 for sure. They also have a matchup against the Blazers to finish the month, so that makes their whole monthly schedule a little bit challenging. All right, the last team in the Eastern Conference, actually, sorry, there's 2 more teams, but the last major team in the Eastern Conference, in my opinion, is the Philadelphia 76ers. No, there is just one more team, and it is the Sixers. The Sixers, as you know, are the new look, newly improved team, and if we're looking at the rest of their schedule, it's actually a really easy schedule for them. So the odds are in their favor. They can start to gel this new experiment that they're putting together and even possibly rise up in the rankings to finish at perhaps, I don't know, like a 2 seed or something like that. So it's going to be very exciting to see what this team can do, but as you know, they need to find a stride and a little bit of a rhythm, because if they don't, they're going to go into the postseason with this new machine they're putting together, and they're not going to know how to use it. But they're looking very optimistic right now given their schedule, and they should put themselves in a great position in the standings to give themselves a better home court advantage for the postseason. All right, now we're going to go to the Western Conference. As you know, the Golden State Warriors are the best team in the NBA, without question. What they can put together and what they can do can be endlessly amusing for us. So, with what seems to be about a medium difficult schedule, 5 games left in the rest of the month for them, the biggest game coming up here is against the Rockets, which I think they will probably dispatch them with ease. It's easy to say the Golden State Warriors will finish with the number 1 record in the NBA, be the home team for the rest of the playoffs, have that number 1 seed home court advantage, and should just do what they normally do. So we don't have anything really to discuss about them until we see otherwise. All right, the next team is the Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are in a very interesting position. The main thing is that they're going to go through division mayhem. Yes, there are more than 2 teams competing in this division. You got Portland, you got Denver, Oklahoma City, and even, what's the other team? Oh, Utah. All these teams have a chance to win the division and possibly finish in the top 4, given how strong they are or their schedules, how easy they may be. So Denver's going to have a lot of work to prove and cut out for themselves going down the road here. They need to find a way to win the big games, win their division games is the main thing against these good teams, so they can keep themselves in a playoff atmosphere at home. Now they're gonna get their rookie stud coming up here, perhaps in sometime around March. Hopefully he does put, give him a little bit of a boost, and they can do a little bit better. All right, OKC. OKC is, in my opinion, probably the biggest contender in the Western Conference, aside from Golden State. But OKC has a very difficult schedule coming down the road, and they're gonna have to really show their toughness. And that means they will be the most exciting team to watch to the end of the regular season because of how difficult their schedule is. They're going to play a lot of good teams. If they can beat all these good teams or beat a good percentage of them, it's going to make them even a better and stronger team. So when they go to the playoffs, they'll be super battle tested and should probably make their way with ease through the first couple of rounds, ideally. But you know, a series is a series, and it's not the same as playing a different team every night. All right. They do have Denver and Philadelphia to kind of close off the month, so those are going to be some fun matchups. So you should definitely keep an eye out for those two. Okay. Portland Trailblazers. The line of sight is right in front of you to get 2 seed. Believe it or not, the 2 seed is up for grabs for this team because they have a very close to easy schedule the remaining way to finish the year. So this team, if they take care of business with the games they need to, they could easily climb the ranks, stay in the top 4, and possibly notch a 2 or 3 seed, which would give them a good advantage. But of course, we know to them they don't have advantage when they're in the postseason because they have yet to prove themselves. But maybe this could be, just maybe, the year. All right, let's go on now to the wash. These are all the teams. We don't know what to expect from them. We just know that they can be good sometimes, and sometimes they're just like, we don't know what's happening with them. All right, the first team in the Eastern Conference is the Brooklyn Nets. I'm a fan of this team. They're not my favorite team, but I'm just a fan of what they can do because they have a lot of grit. Now, they have a very easy schedule to start with. But then the end of the year, their last 15 games or so, is going to get super, super tough for them. So they got to show their grit and win some of these winning some of these games against strong opponents to be able just to make the postseason and perhaps give them a chance to compete in that first round. Because right now we know they're a first round and out for sure. But they do show signs of life. Now, going down the rest of the way, most of these Eastern Conference teams are going to have to win against teams around their same level in order to make the postseason. So that's going to be the main thing to watch out for. Watching all these lower teams who are still trying to make the postseason and see who wins the majority of those games. All right, one of those teams too is the Charlotte Hornets. They have a really tough schedule coming down the road. And honestly, looking at them, they have no push and no momentum on their squad. Now, I got some guys who are talented. Obviously, Kemba Walker is pretty good. But in overall, as a unit, I don't think they have what it takes to make the postseason, and having a very difficult schedule the rest of the way, I do see them perhaps just dropping completely out of the postseason mix in general. Sorry, Charlotte. All right, the new dynamic duo, not new, but the most refreshed dynamic duo coming in is, of course, James Harden and Chris Paul and the Houston Rockets. James Harden, of course, has been going absolutely crazy, setting records with scoring more than 30 points in every single game, and I think he'll have to keep doing it as Chris Paul is still trying to get into the healthy zone. These Rocket team, 5 games, for the rest of the month. They kind of have a medium schedule and overall. They're definitely going to make the postseason for sure. I don't know where they will be as far as the standings, but I definitely think they're going to be in the bottom half of that 5, 6, 7, 8, probably that 5 or 6. And that's about all we can expect from them. Okay, Utah Jazz. They have a great opportunity because it's a super easy schedule for them. It'll be a little bit of a challenging start, the beginning for the next couple of games, but if they can gain consistency, kind of like they did last year, keep it going, beat all the teams they should beat, this team could actually make a push to be in the top 4, given the schedules of the current top 4 teams. So watch out for Utah to be a little bit surprising, and don't be surprised if they are in that top 4. All right, lastly, the San Antonio Spurs. This is a team, they didn't win. They don't know how to win on the road. They got 2 guys they're relying on as far as their main scorers. They got a bunch of other guys that can facilitate, but let's talk about this team, about how they don't got what it takes to do anything right now except win games at home. Now, when they're on the road, like I said, they struggle a lot, and come postseason time, they're more than likely going to finish as that 7th seed where they are right now. And if you're looking at them, they ain't going to do anything unless they get better from the remaining way throughout the year. So good luck, San Antonio. Use this time now to get tougher, a little stronger, and do better on the road. Okay, what do we have here? Looks like a bunch of people are running as if they are chasing for something. These are your chasers, my friends. These are the teams chasing for that playoff spot in that last position. The first team is your Detroit Pistons, who have been better as of late, believe it or not, but they got a very tough schedule. The main thing with Detroit, like I said earlier, they're one of the teams, they just need to win the games against the teams who are also chasing. If you can do this, very good. This team's been making a lot of changes, though, over the course of time, so it's kind of difficult for them. All right, Miami Heat will receive a little bit of an extra boost with Goran Dragic coming back. Hopefully it's enough to boost them up, because this team hasn't showed a lot of life or momentum in recent times. And you're going through a very tough schedule to finish the year, so I don't expect them to make the postseason. Sorry, Dwayne. Your last season might be a sad one. All right. The future is bright for the Orlando Magic. Bright in the sense that they will have magic, either good or bad. Well, we know they got some players on this team that can really help them out, and the 2 young studs, who hopefully they stay as studs, you never know with Mr. Fultz, but they are expected to return, both of them, sometime in mid-March, maybe end of March, and might help them to be able to make a playoff push, given their schedule being one of the easier side. So there is a chance for the Magic to have a magical ending this year, but they're more looking at, of course, le futur. Okay, the last team in the Eastern Conference that has a chance is the Washington Wizards. Wizards, you need to show me some magic. So get up off your seat and get in the game and try to make a push for the playoffs. Now, I know you got some different injuries, and I know your team's kind of been in disarray throughout the whole year, but this is your chance, especially since you have a very easy schedule. Okay, let's go down the wire now with the Western Conference. Hold them back. Hold them back. Don't do anything too crazy now. Don't do anything too crazy. Yes, Los Angeles Clippers. Clippers, you have just a bit of a tough schedule, and the main thing we need to know with your team is, can you carry the load to the end of the season, or are you just going to be examining your roster to see who stays and who should go somewhere else, right? So whatever you do, Clippers, don't hold back, okay? Don't hold back. All right, we're going to keep moving on. I love this team. The Sacramento Kings are the future. They remind me so much of the Golden State Warriors when they came into the league. There's this new team, we don't know about them. They make the playoffs as a lower seed in the Western Conference, but they showed a lot of signs of life with their youth. This team reminds me so much about that team. A lot of young guys. They have an opportunity here to make the postseason. Now their schedule is a little bit on the tougher side. It's going to be tough, but they have enough to do it. The thing is, can they put it together and fight for that 8th seed? Who knows, maybe they get lucky and do well and possibly make it into like the 7th seed or something. But And it's just a matter of them getting it together. They're very youthful. They kind of need to grow. Okay. LeBron and Lakers. This is, of course, the team we all expect to perhaps make it. And believe it or not, they have the easiest schedule compared to the other teams who are chasing for that 8th seed. Their schedule is technically more on the medium side, so it's not very easy, but it's also not very hard. The main thing is consistency with this team. Can they win the games they need to? And will LeBron actually step up as he has stated and deliver this team to the postseason? In my opinion, for the showbiz, for the rest of the NBA, it is going to happen. But we don't know, right? We don't know. Maybe his streak is over of making the postseason. But I believe it will be done. And the main thing is here with the Lakers, will they find some type of consistency and gain a solid group of 4? Okay, Minnesota, you have a very hard schedule coming down the road, and I just don't see you guys doing anything come postseason time. Sorry. This is a good opportunity, though, for you to examine what you can do down the stretch with your roster since you have some depth. Can you reach just a little bit higher and make the postseason? Or are you just going to let everything fold? So Minnesota, is a very interesting time to see what you are going to be able to do, especially having a tough schedule against good teams. Very intrigued. All right, the next team is the last team, and this team is obviously, though they're in contention technically in the standings, they're more looking at the future, for I don't believe that they have enough to do anything. They are touching a bit of a tough schedule down the road, and like I said, since they don't have enough, it's more examining your roster and seeing what you're going to do in the future. And the future is this, as we know, with these two guys, Porzingis and Doncic, will be an exciting duo for times to come. But for now, examine your roster, see what you can do. If you're able to make a push, good, but honestly, I don't see it happening. All right, my friends, that concludes today's show of the NBA Talk with Gil-Kist Nation Sports Talk. I hope you enjoyed it. Enjoy the rest of the season. We will update you on what's going on current times as we get closer into the final phases of the regular season. So stay in the loop, but keep watching the rest of the month for now and enjoy it. From all of us here to you, have a beautiful time. Peace.